Hello everyone, my name is Treva Benson and I come to share with you what my observation was about in class EDC 604, Function of Theory and Play in Early Childhood Education. So on my assignment, I chose to observe 3 children in total from the ages 0 to 5 years old. And one of the things I observed, the first young child that I observed was a 22-month-old, and she was very friendly and she loved to play. Actually, her sister had just had a birthday party, so this was the perfect time to come, is right after that time. And I just observed the children play as they began to play with balloons, and I just observed how they interact with one another while they play with the balloons. For example, the 12-month-old would mostly crawl. Even though she could walk, she would still crawl. She could still suck her bottle. But I noticed some of the things she would do, like still crawling on the floor or climbing up on the couch, to play with the balloons or to push the balloons, as a form of play. So she was very creative and imaginative. Also, the 22-year-old, one of the things I observed with them was I was able to play catch. And that was a very fun activity to watch, just how she would use her motor skills in that, even raising her hands up, raising her hands down. And I would just, as she would raise her hands up, I would say things like up. When she would raise her hands down, I would raise her hands, say things like down. As she would hold both of her hands out, I would say things like catch the balloon, or can throw the balloon back to me. So I just kind of just observed them and they play, and I interacted with them as well. And one of the things also I did was with the 5-year-old was I began to read a book. And as I began to read the book, it's called Jurassic Park. Jurassic World Dinosaur, rescued by Karen L. Dibskin. And I read that book and I watched as the child began to interact, began to ask questions. But he was a much older child, so he knew things like he knew his colors. He recognized, he was able to count the dinosaurs. He also was able to even identify, some of the words that was in the book that was in the book as well. Not a whole lot of them, but he was able to conversate with me more, interact with me more, and talk more. So some of the things I learned, like even with the child that was 22-month-old, her sentences were a lot shorter, of course, than the 5-year-old. The 5-year-old was able to develop sentences of 2,000 words or more, but I noticed the 22-month-old will use like 2 to 3 words at a time. And their conversation was a lot more shorter, but they still was able to communicate and interact with their siblings that was around them. So this observation was really well. The room was bright, and that's some of the things that I look at. The room was free for play, for children play. They had childlike furniture in the room as well. The room was lit up. They had room to run, to jump, to climb, or whatever they needed to do. So these things are important in play. And Pajay, he always talk about how play is pretty much whatever a child can imagine, whatever a child can create in their own world is play. So play, we know play is what help children explore the world around them. So that's very important. So, and children should be able to be free in play. And that's some of the things I watch and observe is they begin to be free in play. And began to initiate things that they wanted to do. One of the things also I did with one of the children was fill up one of the balloons, where the mom filled up one of the balloons with water, and they was the 22-month-old had a kind of a different experience from the 12-month-old. And the 5-year-old was already familiar, but the 2-year-old wasn't so much as familiar. But I think it was very interesting to watch how they interact, and could definitely tell the difference between how easily the other balloons were able to float up in the air versus the balloon being filled with water. So that's all I had for you all on today. That's all my observation was about. I actually used the third child as a bonus. So I hope this gave you a little bit detail, and thank you, and have a great and wonderful day.